Hughes and I'm from the sorting office in Eastleigh. I'm a children's illustrator. And I'm here just to tell you a little bit about how Recreate have helped me in my practice and developing it. I started off at Winchester School of Art and I did a degree in painting. And when I left, I continued my art practice, but in a different form. I continued it in illustration of greetings cards. And I did that for about 10 years, whilst trying to hold down another job, which was teaching assistant. Now I am helping year ones for a number of years, worked in a local primary school. And in the evenings, I was desperately trying to run my illustration business. And I didn't have a studio space, so I was working from home. And as any artist knows who doesn't have a studio space, that can be quite difficult and cause all sorts of problems with your family. And there they are, trying to eat their sausage and mash, and I've taken over the entire dining room. And yeah, that happened a lot. So everybody in my family was really, really pleased when the studio spaces at the sorting office were advertised. I thought, brilliant. I can make this my full-time career if I'm careful. So I applied, and I got a space here. This is the sorting office. And I know some of you just went to have a look round. Inside, there's 16 residents, all of whom are practicing artists and makers. Some are jewellers, some are illustrators, some are textile artists, the list goes on. But I wanted to show you what my studio space looked like when I first moved in. Yeah, and that was kind of where my head was as well, because I knew at the time that I didn't really want to continue with the greetings cards. So, yeah, that was where my brain was. But I said goodbye to school, took a really brave step and said, no, I'm not going to do this job anymore. It was a bit heartbreaking. But I do still go back there, actually, and do a few talks with them now and again. But this is where Recreate really came to the fore for me. And I spent a long time having professional development meetings with them, had several. And what I needed to do as an artist was work out my direction. So I made a lot of these mind maps, and I just got out every idea that I could possibly think of that might make a creative business that wasn't greetings cards, because I knew I wanted to change my direction. And that's where Recreate really, really helped me move my business on. And they also put on lots and lots of courses and workshops for all of the residents. We did things like went to design shows in London to see up-and-coming trends. We had lots of workshops running on finance, which I'm not brilliant at, I have to say, so I really needed that one. We also did an artist question time, which was fabulous. We had a whole series of artists. One happened to be an illustrator, so I got to ask him all the questions that I needed to ask him. Because by then, I was starting to think children's picture books might be the way forward for me. And the two particular things that Recreate funded for me I wanted to tell you about was this one. This was the Nosy Crow Conference up in London. This was a full day of workshops and talks by authors and illustrators and agents and even book buyers, all talking about what that market needed and what that market wants, what they're looking for. And by the end of that day, I knew that that was where I wanted to be. So I'd consolidated all those thousands of ideas that were buzzing around in my head, and I'd got a firm idea of what I wanted to do. So I had to write the book. So I went away and I wrote my first picture book, which was called Twig. And when I'd done that, I then made an illustrative picture book dummy, which has just basic illustrations in to show the layout of the book. And I took it to the Winchester Writers' Festival, which Recreate funded. And on that day, it was another full day of keynote speakers and workshops. But right at the end, I got to speak to Barry Timms, who is the editorial director of Little Tiger Press. And he had already seen my work and gave me some feedback on my writing and on my illustrative style. And he was really positive, so that was fabulous, actually. And I'm still in contact with him now about that book. So when I came away from this conference, I was feeling really, really confident. And I think that as somebody who's a sort of developing artist, that need to have that confidence in yourself is so important, and Recreate have really given me that. I also wanted just to talk about open studios. This is another thing that we do at the studios. This is really good because it's really important to get our art out into the community, to let people know that we're really here and that we want to share it with them. And also it was a fantastic exercise in getting a print range together for me, a production line of images that I could sell and to cost them effectively. So I'm just going to flick through, I've just put in a few of the images that I was selling at the last Open Studios. These images I also used to do my first sort of mail drop to picture book agents, because without a picture book agent it would be very difficult to get into publishing and get your book published. So I sent these images and my story outline off to an agent. Here's the book cover for Twig. Sent them off to an agent. I sent them off to lots of agents, and I'm really, really happy to announce that in the last month I've had representation offer from Eunice McMullen Agency. So I'm now represented by them, so that's another step in the right direction. And as my final slide, I just want to show you now what my studio space looks like, because it isn't empty anymore. And that's my journey with Recreate, so thank you, Recreate.